Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Before I Do, the show that shares with you everything that should be done before saying I do. So whether you are dating, engaged, single, want to be married, not sure if you want to be married, we are here to facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
Yes, and if you are ready, really ready, you want to make sure that when we pose the speaking hour forever hold your peace question, we don't want you to hold your peace. Duh. We want you to engage with us, talk with us, and share your opinions. We want you to speak. So say it with me, speak. Say it again, speak. Yes. All right. Don't hold it. Speak. Right. We want you to engage with us, and we want to know your thoughts, experiences, and opinions. So engage with us tonight as we go into this very
Charmaine, you're having some technical challenges, so I'm going to fill in a little bit of the blanks. So what Charmaine was getting ready to say is that we're getting ready to go into a very interesting topic. This is part 2 of our discussion about dating after a divorce or breakup. Are you ready? And tonight we're going to be focusing on the physical side. For those of you who might not have joined us last week, we definitely encourage you to go back and watch the show because we talked about the emotional side. Tonight we're going to be talking about you being physically ready to be with someone. And so when it comes to being physically intimate, a lot of people think that's a synonym for sex, and it is not. Being physically intimate and being sexual with someone are two totally different things. There are, again, certain people that when we talk about intimacy, we're talking about touch, holding hands, hugging, things of that nature. And it can be a very sensitive thing to allow someone in your space to have that type of connection with you after you've gotten out of a long relationship or a strong relationship or a divorce, marriage, things of that nature. So we want to talk about, again, the establishment of physical intimacy after a breakup or after divorce. Charmaine, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Excellent.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, it can be a very powerful thing after a breakup. Especially if you give yourself the adequate time that you need, and to heal and to do all of your work. It can be alarming when someone kind of violates your space and they choose to take it upon themselves to decide that, what's appropriate for them is appropriate for you. And so we do this show because really it is a great time to audit, man, what is it that I'm okay with, right? Am I okay with low levels of physical intimacy? And what do I actually consider to be high levels of physical intimacy? And so is a hug for you like a high level of intimacy? Is that to you being pressed up against somebody's chest, or maybe it depends on how they hug you? So these are certain kind of things you want to begin to audit and ask yourself, man, what am I ready for? And how am I, how do I view that physical intimacy piece? What are high levels, mid levels, and low levels of physical intimacy that are okay?
Yeah, for a lot of people that are getting out of a relationship, they usually fall in one of two categories based on research. It says that they fall in a category of elated excitement. This is the opportunity to physically interact with a new person can actually stimulate a sense of anticipation, this idea of embracing that newness. And now I'm no longer tethered to someone, and I've got the freedom to really explore from a physical standpoint, is how some people view that. And then for those on the opposite side, they view it as more awkward and uncomfortable. This idea and this notion that I've been with this person for a significant amount of time. And so exposing myself to someone that isn't familiar with my body, someone that doesn't know me, and them potentially touching me in the wrong way, being too rough, being too soft, things of that nature. And so the bottom line is, it's very important that you not allow physical intimacy to fill it with just anyone. and not again doing the work that you need to do post a divorce or post breakup. And so a
Mm.
lot of people will try to feel themselves with, just being with someone physically, and that they will end up stumbling over the work that they actually need to do. And so you have to be very careful that you're not utilizing being intimate physically as a substitute for some of the things that need to happen individually.
Yeah, and this definitely happens a lot where there can be that pressure, right? There can be the pressure that if let's say you're ready to date, you start dating, and then maybe first, second date, you find yourself with this person who they are big into physical touch, right? So for them, that stroke down the lower part of your back, them holding your hand, them going in for that first kiss after that first date, and like literally wanting to kiss you in the mouth, like to them that might not be a big deal because they are so desensitized that that's not a big deal to them. Like it's not like we're having sex. It's like literally I just want to kiss you in the mouth, or I want to caress your arm and rub my hand down your arm. Like that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is. It is to someone who is choosing to be abstinent, someone who is choosing to reserve the right to say, you know what, I'm fasting in that way. And so it is important not to be pressured by the person that you're dating, interested in, to accommodate, who they are and what they prefer, when you're not ready.
Absolutely. We're talking about dating after divorce or breakup. Are you ready? We're focusing on the physical side. And so when we talk about, Charmaine, you're alluding to boundaries and those things. And so for those of you out there, our speak now question of the night is, when you think about the relationships that you were in, what are some important lessons that you've learned from your breakup? Or for those of you who are divorced, what are some of the lessons that you learned from some of your breakups or divorce? And Charmaine, I was contemplating this question, and I know for me, one of the things that I learned from the breakups and previous relationships that I was in was the importance of ensuring that I'm maintaining my individuality in that, and not becoming so engulfed in an individual that I'm losing myself, and really making sure that I'm honing in, and that my boundaries are respected as far as with the things that I'm into, the things that I like, and really maintaining a sense of individuality in a relationship. What about you?
I think, some of the important lessons that I've learned after a breakup was that I definitely needed to have some time by myself. It was a very, it's a very, when you have invested time in talking to someone, getting to know them, what they like, this person they take up mental space, right? They take those mental moments up in your mind. And so it's already hard if you're trying to get over someone that you've broken up. I have to see this person, and I have to deal with the internal battles of the memories, the thoughts. So for me, I think really me having to do a fast, me trying to really just get that person out of my head, and that takes a while. That takes a lot of times. It takes a lot longer than than to be expected. And I definitely don't put myself in a position where I allow myself to be hugged and things like that, because a lot of times I find myself, it's more about me than it is the person. I wouldn't want to use someone, put it that way. I wouldn't want to use someone because of my need to be comforted, because of my need to emotionally, vent and things like that. That person might be drawn up into my emotional situation. And yeah, I wouldn't want to feel like I am I'm allowing this person in my space during my time of grieving and just, you know, dealing with the loss, and then me unconsciously using them.
Absolutely.
So
You're
time and
tuning
space is important.
Indeed. You're tuned into Before I Do. Again tonight. We're talking about dating after divorce or breakup. When are you ready to be physically intimate again? And our speak now question of the night is: what are some important lessons that you have learned from a breakup or divorce? We're asking you to put your comments in the chat. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with your comments on tonight's Before I Do. Stay tuned, everybody. Hey everyone, welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight we're talking about dating after a divorce or a breakup. When are you ready to be physically intimate? And once again, our speak now question of the night is: what are some important lessons that you have learned from your breakup or divorce? Laquita says that I am very giving and I want to help people. I have learned how to wait and allow that person to ask for help before jumping in front. I experienced someone tell me, I never asked you for help, and you just did it on your own. So I keep my blessing of giving to myself till my spirit tells me to help, or I was asked for help. I am certain that if Charmaine was here with me, she would ring the bell, because absolutely it is so important to ensure that you are invited into helping people and not just offering yourself in that way. That can actually be an intrusive thing where, again, a person may want to struggle through what it is that they're doing, because for a lot of people, that's a part of their process. So absolutely, it is a gift, Queet, and that it is a great thing, and it's one of the most redeeming and wonderful qualities about you. But you do have to be careful of just volunteering that and waiting to be invited in for people to ask you for your help. That's a great observation. All right, so tonight,
I'm proud of that.
Go ahead, Charmaine.
No, I'm proud of that response, because the givers out there, anyone out there, if you are a giver, you want to make sure that you're right, that you constantly, we all have to have those mirror and reflection checks. You want to always make sure that you're doing it from from the right place. You don't want to get in the way of somebody's opportunity to grow and stand on their own 2 feet. And so sometimes your need to give can impede their opportunity to grow and learn and to go through whatever process they need to be doing on their own. So that's a great observation, and one to be mindful of in relationships.
We're talking about dating after divorce or breakup. How do you know when you're ready for physical intimacy? So we have 4 quick tips that we want to share with you all that are signs that you may be ready to get back involved with someone from a physical standpoint. All right, so tip number 1, they respect your boundaries, which is something that we've been alluding to at the beginning of this show. If you draw a line in the sand where you are clearly communicating certain things that you are not comfortable with, and they continue to assert themselves in violating those things, it is a telltale sign that they may not be the person that you would want to necessarily re-engage your physical activity with. That they're constantly trying to push you into doing things that you're not comfortable or ready to do. That is a really important red flag for you to observe before you enter into anything else with that particular person. Because if they can't respect you physically, then 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be able to respect you mentally as well, and even spiritually. So it's very important also to know and be clear about your boundaries. People can't really respect your boundaries if you're not aware of them, and or if you have not clearly communicate what your boundaries are. So part of what we should be learning as we're coming out of relationships, as many of you are coming out of marriages, is understanding what your boundaries are, what your deal breakers are, what are your values and your principles. The more that we are engaged with other individuals, the sharper and the more succinct we should be able to become in knowing exactly what things govern who it is we are and what we do.
Absolutely. And I like that about the boundaries because, this is where you can do a really granular audit. When we talked about earlier about low intimacy and high intimacy. And so that's for you to decide, is holding hands okay with you? Is that type of physical intimacy okay when somebody you just met, right? Is a peck on the cheek okay? Meaning there's no tongue. They can kiss me on the cheek. Can they kiss me on the hand? Right? Can they give me a hug? Is it just one of those, those side hugs or, that you politically correct hugs? Or is it one of those, long embraces? What is appropriate? And these are the things that you can ask yourself. But number two, another sign that you're ready for physical intimacy is that this person makes you feel comfortable. Like you get the butterflies in your stomach, at the idea of being around them. And it's not something that was manufactured. It's authentic. They don't even know it's happening because of something they said, they did, or, just something unconscious. They're just being themselves. And because they're themselves, you are comfortable, around them as well. And as a reminder, them making you feel comfortable doesn't mean you have to offer extended access of intimacy, of physical intimacy, just because you're having this feelings. Don't allow that to allow you to lean in to provide more access before you're ready.
Absolutely. And tip number 3 is you have good, clean fun with them. Now, what we mean by that is that this is an individual that you get the chance to really do platonic things with. So you all enjoy going out, talking, having conversation. When a person again is violating your boundaries, when they are making you feel uncomfortable, it's because they usually have an agenda in that way. But when you're enjoying their company, when you all are enjoying doing things together, then that is a telltale sign that, again, this person has an interest at least outside of the physical. Again, when you like someone and you have an attraction and connection with them, obviously you're going to want to be physically intimate and interact with them in that way. But you want to be careful that you're not aligning yourself with someone that has that at the top of their agenda and their priority. And usually individuals that have that mindset, they are constantly pushing that agenda. They are constantly violating, again, those boundaries. They're trying to rush you into certain things. And so it's important to really gauge, what are some of the things that we're able to interact together? When are we together? Are we constantly together at night? Are we not around other people? Can we not go out in public? Again, all of those things are really important in getting to a good, comfortable place with individuals before you decide to be physically intimate with them.
Yes, and our fourth tip, as far as signs that you're ready to be physically for physical intimacy, is that you talk more than you touch. And so there are there's two ways to like feel that connection with someone, and a lot of times it's physically and emotionally. And so if you're doing more kissing and hugging than you are talking, that can lead to some trouble. So even if you've gone on 20 dates or conversation isn't flowing the way that you want it to, believe me, having sex can't fix your communication problems. And some people feel like, oh, well, sex is a form of communication. It is. However, if you want something of substance, if you want to definitely make sure you're having the opportunity to get to know the person, then definitely sex, more sex than you are talking, more hugging and kissing and physical intimacy without the intellectual intimacy and emotional intimacy. Yeah, it can leave one feeling very empty.
Yeah, and part of the challenge again is with the physical aspect. When you begin to introduce that, sometimes it can complicate things even more, especially when you haven't, again, fully reconciled some of the things that you may be dealing with from your previous relationship. Now you've gotten yourself entangled with an individual that, again, you're involved with them physically, you're not really sure if you're connecting with them emotionally, and you still got these ties and these residual things from this previous relationship. And so it really can cause this toxic menagerie, right, of this mix of all these different feelings and the different things, and you as the individual are left to really sort through that. So it's very important, again, to slow down the process, not being afraid again to say that, hey, I'm taking a break from that right now. I'm taking it slow. We can talk on the phone. We can, have conversations. We can go here. We can go on some dates and things of that nature. But I'm really in a position where I just want to get to know you before we decide to move into other levels of our relationship.
Now, what if I'm ready? Like I'm ready to be touched, like now. Then what?
Yeah, I think first of all is making sure that it's with the right person for the right reason. Now, again, a lot of individuals, as we mentioned, when they're coming out of a divorce or they're coming out of a relationship, they can't wait to be free. So it's like, they're just trying to get their rocks off. And so, we're not here to condone or condemn, but what we are here to do is to provide clarity when it comes to that and all the things that can potentially come along with that. So it's just being clear and intentional about your why, knowing exactly, okay, I need this, but why do you need it? Maybe are you trying to, again, fill a hole that's not going to be filled by sex? Are you just, again, trying to explore because, again, you've gotten out of a relationship that was very restrictive, that you had some fantasies and some different things that you wanted to live out and do, and this person was not necessarily interested in that, and now you got the opportunity to explore. So it's just being very clear about exactly not just what you need, but why you need it before you just engage with someone. Because, again, it could be possible that while you're just looking for a fling, this person is looking for a connection and something genuine. So it's being honest about that to ensure that you're getting exactly what you want.
All right. And so I think we're ready. I think we're ready. We want some physical intimacy. If you are ready, you've been like, look, it's been a year, Walter. It's been a year, Charmaine. I am ready. I'm at my boiling point. I need to be touched. And I'm ready to go. Okay. So these next few tips, they are for you. Should I give them the first one or do we need to take a break? Are we good?
Yeah, let's take a really quick break, y'all, before we get into these tips for strengthening physical intimacy. Charmaine right now is I'm just saying. Hey, everyone. So again,
y'all.
Hey, y'all, you're tuned into Before I Do. We're talking about dating after divorce. Are you ready for physical intimacy? We are going to take a really brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Before I Do, everybody. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight we are talking about dating after divorce or a breakup. How do you know when you're ready for physical intimacy? And so we talked about some of the telltale signs that show and prove that potentially you may be ready for physical intimacy. Now, Charmaine, you can pick up as it relates to what you were saying about how do we go about engaging and doing that?
I mean, so first off, if you're ready for touch, you got to be the leader in the very thing that, you're ready for. Now, I'm not trying to say touch yourself. I
Well,
didn't say that out loud, but
ring a bell for
whatever.
myself on that one.
But tip number one is this: initiating physical touch often. And so if you want touch, you have to be brave enough to be the very leader in the thing that you say you want. So keep in mind that kissing and hugging and holding hands, they all produce the hormone oxytocin, which is a necessary feeling of connectedness, being connected and happy. So we want that oxytocin. We do. Oxytocin, say it with me. Oxytocin. If you are ready, okay, then what you're saying is, I want the oxytocin. And in order to do that, you want to make sure that you are initiating physical touch. You grab your partner or the person you're dating, grab their hand, hold their hand out in public, and that'll help to stimulate their hormone. Oh, snap. Yes. All right. Brush.
Get permission. Get permission before you touch the hair, though. Make sure you get.
This is true. Yes, you want to get all kind of consent before you just grab a brush and think you're going to go brush your partner's hair, okay? And so again, all of these things can work, but all of them can be non-sexual touch as well. Again, physical intimacy doesn't mean that what you're saying is, I'm ready to have sex with you. Hand holding, brushing the hair, scalp massage, a shoulder massage, those things don't necessarily mean I want to have sex with you. So just be mindful that if your partner is starting to make, it doesn't mean that they're asking to have sexual intercourse.
All right. So tip number 2 is to make sure that you are flirting. Now, we're actually teasing this because we're going to talk about this a little more next month. So y'all stay tuned for that. But flirting is just as exciting when you first meet someone. It's important to make sure that you continue on with that as you go into your relationship. A few sexy smiles, some text messages, some gestures, all of those things can really do wonders in your relationship and helping to keep that fire going. You all know that, most people know that the physical usually starts with the mental and the emotional. So when we talk about flirting, that's one of the things that really helps to kind of get the engine going. Charmaine is always on me about understanding women. And so one of the things that she says that's important when it comes to women is that the body is driven by the emotion. The body is driven by the mental. And so if you want to get into a woman's body, you start with the mental, right? And so flirting is a big part of that. So ensuring that as you're engaging in the relationship, as you started re-engaging with the physical intimacy, that you make regular flirting as a part of that.
Absolutely. And our third tip, exercise together. Yeah. I know this might sound like, oh, I really don't want to exercise. I'm always tired. If you're the person that says, I'm really too tired to exercise, then you absolutely need to exercise. And I'm saying this because I'm preaching to myself, okay? I'm that one. I work hard. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm too exhausted. Well, guess what? You go to the gym and you put in a 30-minute workout. I promise you will leave that gym invigorated, feeling like you have just dumped, 40, 50 pound dumbbells off of your shoulders. It alleviates stress levels. It leads to a healthier mental well-being. And research has shown that exercise can improve the relationship satisfaction that couples actually have. I mean, it's something to see your partner over there sweating and and building those muscles and I mean, just making sure their heart is healthy. Because guess what? If this person, especially if you are really serious about them and you are thinking about some long-term plans, you want them to be healthy. But either way, in the short term, it is really huge to exercise together because you're getting fit together, you're sculpting your bodies, you're making sure your heart is healthy, and it just really releases a lot of negative energy and pours a lot of positive energy between the two of you.
Yeah, and in our marriage, Charmaine, we have the testimony that during COVID is when we actually strengthened our emotional intimacy because we started walking together. So we
Mhm.
started exercising and walking, and they really led to these deep conversations, and we connected in a way that we hadn't in a long time. And we actually just joined the gym together as well. And she's absolutely right that it does do something when you look across the room and you see your mate over there getting it in, and they watching you get it in. And yeah, so it provides that anticipation and that intimacy. There's also flirting that takes place when you do that together. And of course, there's physical benefits to it also too. So definitely don't discount the exercise piece together. And the last tip is to remember the little things. We are talking about the non-physical activities that help you increase the physical intimacy in your relationship. This is going for walks, reading books together, talking about your first date and reminiscing, expression appreciation for something that they did for you, maybe even cooking, or again dancing together. So all of these things can be a part of helping to strengthen that physical intimacy piece when you have decided to open that door and cross that boundary with that new individual. So ensuring that, again, it doesn't just become about completely the physical, but ensuring that you're incorporating the emotional and the mental aspect with it. So yeah, some really, really good stuff. And as you all can see, my beautiful bride and I are separated right now because she is on a business trip. She's been gone since Sunday. And so a lot of these are some really great reminders for those of us who are married or in relationships as well. You know, making sure you're sending those text messages, making sure that you're sending those photos. And so that way, when you do have the chance to see your mate in public again, hey, you know what it is. Hey, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning in to tonight's Before I Do Him. As we're talking about seeing one another again, we are going to encourage you to make it a date night in October. The Couples Academy Phoenix Award Gala is coming up on Saturday, October the 7th. It is an absolutely amazing date night opportunity and the chance for you to network and be in a room full of individuals that are going to be promoting love. There's going to be live entertainment. There's going to be amazing dinner. There's going to be some performances by some people you may or may not know. And so it is going to be an amazing event that's taking place in Alpharetta, Georgia on the first weekend in October. So be sure to join us there. Again, we're going to have a table, and listen, y'all, it's going to be a hoot nanny, as certain folk would say, because if y'all think, again, we are funny online, when y'all get around us in person, man, we love to have a good time. So be sure to go to couplesacademy.org for more information on that. So really excited about the Phoenix Award Gala that's coming up in October. Charmaine, how about you?
I am super excited. I mean, ladies, look, we make this a road trip, make this a girl's trip, make this a guy's trip. Like, this is not just for couples, okay? This is for anyone who really, really is invested in relationships, and you are in a relationship with yourself. But come, there are individuals who are coming, they're not married, but guess what? They value relationships, and they're going to be there. And maybe that someone that's supposed to be there is going to be there, and you're going to be there, and there's going to be some nice things that happen because both of y'all are there. But we come, it's a networking opportunity. We want to meet you, see you, and have a good time. We're going to dance, we're going to celebrate, and we're going to enjoy this environment. Get in the room, remove the excuses, make this a weekend. Come to Georgia. You know, it's a lot of things to do. Meet the team at Couples Academy and celebrate with us.
Absolutely. In addition to that, be sure to reach out and book us for a session. We love to partner with you on your individual journey. If you're in a relationship, definitely would love to make sure that you all are walking in wholeness and wellness. And so thank you all again for tuning into Before I Do. Now, next week, we are continuing on with the Dating After Divorce and Breakup series. And we are going to be talking about, are you choosing the same people over and over again? Or are you looking for someone or something different? And if so, why? There are some of you who are dating the same people in different bodies.
Over and over again.
And there are some of you who have sworn off certain things because they were in the wrong person. Let's talk about it. So be sure to tune in. Before I do next week, we're going to continue on with part 3 of dating after divorce and breakup. Am I choosing the same people? And so look forward to seeing y'all next week. Charmaine, any last parting words for the people?
No, well, we love you. We thank you for celebrating with us. And before I do, we celebrate you, your relationship with yourself. We definitely want to connect with you. So reach out to us. Try it. Don't say one day I'm going to call. Make today that day. Call, book us for a session, faith it through. And yeah, let's start your work today.
Thank y'all for tuning in to Before I Do. We'll see y'all next week. Good night, everybody.